I found the perfect 7-watch collection for me. So today we're gonna dive into my watch collection, one for each day of the week, from rugged to refined and everything in between. Quick note before I get into this, if you don't like these watches or you don't like my taste, that's fine. You don't have to watch this video, or you don't have to agree with me. You know, we all have different taste, and mine is not the correct decision. It's just my opinion and what I like. Sunday. G-Shock. Yeah, my week starts on Sunday. Some people's week starts on Monday, but mine starts on Sunday. On Sunday, my goal is to get myself motivated, right? For the rest of the week. Go on a run, work out, clean the house, do some yard work, cook for the week. Today, I do all the chores that I really need to do. And realistically, there's only one watch for all those goals, right? It's the trusty G-Shock. Yeah, so I mean, it's a simple watch, right? So I use this to set all my watches because it goes against radio time, and so it checks itself every so often. I use this for runs, for regular routine things. It's wearable, it's functional, it's tough as nails, 200-meter water resistance, shock resistant, past the point where basically your wrist is gonna break before the watch breaks. If you don't own a G-Shock in some form or fashion, just do it. Right? Peace of mind. That's what it's all about. So that's why I love the G-Shock. It's kind of the watch that I can wear and never think about. And Sunday's the day I don't want to think. You know, I want to get things done, but not really think about what I'm wearing. So that is why I wear my G-Shock DW5600 on this time. It's the equivalent of an old pair of jeans that you just can't throw away. And that's why I love the G-Shock for Sunday. Monday is the beginning of the week, right? We're getting back to work. I need something to wear. And I love starting my work week with this, the Breitling Navi Timer, because no one likes Monday, right? But I get to have this one stupid little thing that I get to do to enjoy, which is putting this thing back on. You know, Monday, start of a new work week. You got update meetings. And that's where the Navi Timer comes in. You know, it's complex, it's cool, it's a legend of the aviation world. You know, the spinning slide rule bezel makes me feel smarter, even though, like, I never really use it for anything, but it looks really cool. And it's a good conversation starter. I don't ever have conversations about it, but it could be a good conversation starter. And it's my pilot's watch. You know, like, I didn't fly here, but if I was going to, I could calculate the fuel consumption during that flight, if I were to fly. And that is what I love about the Navi Timer. It's wearable. This is the 42mm version. You know, it's relatively compact. It's a little tubby, but for the most part, it gets the job done. I have some gripes on it, but you can see that in my review, mainly having to do with the date mechanism. But I had someone reach out, and their tip was the fact that I could just basically advance the date by going back to 8:30 and then back forward to 12 over and over again instead of cycling through all 24 hours. If you have one, I would definitely consider that. Anything with a Value 7750, that is what you can do as a quick little fix. The crown isn't amazing to operate, but, you know, it's a classic. The watch just gives me a certain feeling. You know, it's not really something I can explain too much. It isn't my favorite watch in my collection. We'll go through all these and I can kind of get through what my favorite is, but it is a watch that I really enjoy wearing and I've wanted for a long time. It's definitely a great fit within my collection. So Tuesday, there's really no other watch, and that is the Omega Speedmaster, right? I mean, it's Speedy Tuesday. There is no other option but the Omega Speedmaster. It went to the moon. You know, well, not this watch, right? But a watch like this. Well, not a watch like this. A watch that was made 60 years ago that looked very similar to this did go to the moon, right? This watch is for the dreamers out there. You know, the ones that look up at the stars and think, yeah, I could go there, but I'll probably just go get a coffee instead. You know, the Speed is wearable. It's classic in the right meaning of that sort of word. It feels vintage, you know, understated. It's the perfect watch in my mind for the day when you get work done. And I do use the chronograph function all the time on my Tuesdays. That's when I do all my takt time tests and quality checks and productivity checks. And that allows me basically to go out there and time things as I need to out on the shop floor. And so I use the Speedmaster for that. Do I need to? Could I use my phone and get more granularity? 100%. But it's fun and it gives me a task and it's just one of those things that I enjoy. So every Tuesday I get to wind this thing up. And, you know, this 7-day-a-week schedule, as I'll get through here, is amazing because, you know, I get that time where I'm wearing something else and I'm enjoying it. But when I come back, you know, a week feels like a really good time that when I start putting it on again, you know, it feels somewhat new. It feels somewhat fresh. It feels like, oh man, yeah, I love this watch. I forgot how much I like this watch. And that is how I feel on Tuesdays when I put this thing on. You know, it doesn't scream at me and say, hey, I need to be worn. But every so often when I want something, you know, that I just look at my watch box and I think I need to put something on, I can gravitate to this more often than you would expect just because I like it. You know, it's hard to explain, But a lot of times when I go in here, there are 3 watches I'll pull from more often than not when I have a free day or I'm going to an event, and this is definitely one of them. Love the Speedmaster. Love it on this strap. This is an Artem strap, so shout out to Artem Straps. They sent me this months ago. They didn't know I was going to do this video. That's actually the same kind of strap that's on my Navitimer, is a blue Artem strap, and on my Grand Seiko. They make great sailcloth straps, so if you're interested, check them out. I make no money out of it. You know, they sent me these a long time ago, but I love their straps, and so I like to call them out because they should be called out. So that is the Omega Speedmaster, and that's my thoughts on it. This is the Sapphire Sandwich version, 42 millimeters, so obviously you got see-through case back on the back. You have the Applied logo. If I were to go for a Speedmaster, I've done multiple videos on this. You can go through the whole index of the channel. I would pick the Sapphire modern version over just about anything else, including the current white Speedmaster. So yeah, if I were to buy a Speedmaster, this is the one that I would pick, and I absolutely love it. On Tuesdays, the Speedy. Wednesday's always the day I've forgotten what day of the week it is, right? So I need a day date, and so I wear this, right? It's Wednesday, it's hump day. What animal has a hump? The turtle, right? So the trusty Seiko turtle. But why pick the Seiko turtle in green? Well, really, it's because it's functional. It also looks like a grenade, and by the time Wednesday rolls around, you know, I may be considering some more violent options to solve my work problems. But honestly, like, the Seiko turtle's my choice on Wednesday because of my time in the warehouse. If I'm gonna pack boxes, if I'm gonna load a truck, if I'm gonna help out back in the shop, you know, this is the best day for me to do it. And nothing handles the nicks, bumps of the job like the turtle. You know, actually, fun story. I actually wore this to a property where I was doing some landscaping. So I was using a dingo and tearing up a bunch of stuff. I wore this the entire time. It was on my wrist while I was doing everything. I mean, when you're talking about shock resistance, I wore this. I beat the crap out of this. I was swinging an axe with this. I was swinging a machete with this. I was on the dingo for 2 hours straight with this, just vibrating. Perfectly fine. It didn't skip a beat. The rate didn't change. You know, I got a few extra nicks in it, but it's perfectly fine. You know, this is the sort of watch when I want to wear something and I don't feel like wearing a G-Shock. You know, I want to wear an automatic watch or a mechanical watch. I'll put this on a lot of the times. You know, yes, it's $400. Yes, I have lost touch with the fact that $400 for a watch is a lot of money. It is. It's a huge amount of money for a wristwatch. I don't feel that anymore. You know, I'm jaded. And so, yes, I do wear this as a pseudo beater sometimes, depending on what the activity is. And I love it. It's perfect for it. You know, it doesn't mean that it's rock solid because it's hefty, but it makes you feel like it's rock solid because it's hefty. That leads us to Thursday. Thursday, realistically, is the last productive day of the week for most people. You know, I try to work on Friday. I have very productive days, but on Friday, most people are thinking about the weekend. They're starting to check out a little bit. So the last productive day, I wear the Rolex Explorer 2, right? Thursday is the day when you start planning what sort of trips you're gonna do on the weekend. And I feel like that's my most reasonable reason why I pick a travel watch on a Thursday. Really, I needed to fit it into the week, and I wanted it near the tail end of the week because I love this watch. I wanted to wear it closer to that. You know, it's the watch that tells you whether it's day or night in a cave or in the office. You know, if you've lost track of time during a never-ending Zoom call, the watch tells you. You know, this watch has a lot of sentiment to me, and that's why I love it so much. You know, I've gone over multiple videos of that. If you want to see that, you can. It's all in the archives. But I picked this up on my honeymoon with my wife in Geneva. I absolutely adored our trip, and so that has a lot of reason why I love this watch so much. And obviously there's a lot of added factor, the fact that, you know, it's a very, I think it's probably the best case design for what I like to wear on my wrist. I like the 40 millimeter case. I love how thin it is at the same time. So it takes up a lot of wrist real estate. It doesn't look small, but it feels relatively thin, so you don't notice it all that often, especially if you wear it on a strap. You really forget that you're wearing it. The Super Jubilee from the Batmans around this era work as a replacement, and so I bought one of those and I put it on here, and I really like the look of it. It's just one of those things that just makes it different than everything else I have in my collection. I didn't want to have 2 watches with oyster bracelets. If I put it on a strap, you know, I feel like this watch looks really good on a tan strap, but I prefer the tan strap on my Speedmaster. And I thought, hey, let's try something else. And I'd always seen images of it on a Jubilee, and I'd loved how those images looked. And so I thought, hey, you know, give it a shot, see if I like it. I've really enjoyed wearing it on the Jubilee, and so it'll probably be a little while before I take it off again, but that's basically what the Explorer 2 is on. That's what I wear on Thursday. Love this watch. As I said, a lot of sentiment behind it. But if you're looking for a travel watch and you're trying to go beyond the Black Bay 58 GMT that's new, or any of the Black Bay line, or any of the Longines Zulu times, or really any of the affordable ones beyond that in terms of more affordable. Like, you don't need to spend this much money, but if you're going to buy a Rolex with a travel complication in it, like a Traveler's GMT in it, this watch is great. I really like it. You know, I think the modern one aesthetically looks better, in my opinion, but it's too big. Like, it doesn't wear the same way, and for that reason, this is always going to be my choice for an Explorer 2. Until they come out with a 40mm version of the current model. Then I might be interested. But for now, this is my watch, and it's probably never going to go anywhere. Yay! Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. So it's time really to wear something that I can wear to work and then to dinner that evening. And really the best watch for that is the Rolex Explorer. This watch has been in this coveted spot of Fridays for a long time. And really it's my favorite Rolex by far. And it is probably my favorite watch in my collection. I bounce back and forth between it and the next watch for Saturday at the moment. But that watch is new, so that may play into it. I've had this watch for 4.5 years. And of any watch I've ever owned, this is the watch that I come back to, and when I put it on, I really remember what it's like to have it for the first time. A lot of these other watches, you know, I'll put it on and I'll remember why I like the design. This is just kind of the watch that I can easily wear and not really worry about what I have to do that day, and all the while enjoy everything about it. It's just a watch that I really love. You know, it's a watch that I really wear, and so when I hit Friday, you know, a lot of times I'll look forward to it. I'll look forward to putting this back on and enjoying it again. And when you have new watches come in, a lot of times you forget to wear the ones you bought early on. And I think it's important that you wear them again and you remember at least why you loved it so much. Part of the reason I also enjoy this watch so much right now is because I actually got it repolished when I had it serviced. And you can see my video on repolishing, and you can obviously argue with me in the comments. But I love the fact that when it came back, it really felt new. Like, it felt like I just got the watch for the first time. I hadn't had it for 2 months, and then it came back, and then it looked brand spanking new, you know, and it still had all the sharp lugs. So I really loved that, and it brought me a new level of enjoyment. And then the last watch, Saturday. Saturday, in my opinion, is the most important day. That's the day I want to enjoy the most. That's what the day I want to have a watch on that I really look forward to all week of putting it back on my wrist. And right now, there's no other watch that's better for that than the Grand Seiko SBGA 415. You know, have I looked forward to putting this on Saturday morning? Yes. I mean, really, the biggest reason is, look at that dial. It may be something you guys hear all the time about Grand Seiko, you know, like amazing dials and wow, amazing price for the fact that you get such a good looking watch and Zaratsu polishing and all this other stuff. But really, I didn't understand it until I had it in my collection for, I would say, I mean, the first time I got it in the house and not in a jewelry shop, that was a really big, I think, moment because the lighting was different. I have a review that goes over all of this and my thoughts on this watch specifically, but that just changed my impression of Grand Seiko, I should say. You know, the bracelets still have, I think, much to be desired. They're not horrible, but they're not as good as I would want them to be. I think it doesn't fit how nice and well thought through the case is. And I have things that bother me about this watch. Again, you can see that in the review. But generally, I like wearing it because it looks nice. You can see a common theme here. I clearly have started to find out that I like, you know, like a little bit more reflection. I like applied indices. I like seeing something that looks more refined, almost like I like casual watches that have a dressy element to them. I think maybe that's because of my original interest in the Explorer, but in general, I've found that that has become my taste of what I really love, is something that can be very understated, but when you pay attention to it for more than a second, you know, you can also stop and really just enjoy how much work, effort, craftsmanship went into the dial layout design, and in this case, dial texture and applied indices. I actually have a microscope now. I'll be doing a video of my entire collection under the microscope. The level of refinement that you find in this watch is incredible. More so than I really expected. And everyone says it online, and you know, I know I'm adding to the hype, but it's how I feel, right? I love this watch. I save it for Saturday for all those reasons. But that being said, like, you can still wear this out and about. Like, it doesn't have to be just a dress watch. I wore this pulling weeds on Saturday and then going for a walk and then going to the range. It doesn't make a difference because the watch can still handle most of that stuff because it's a watch. You know, all of these watches can handle that range of activities. You don't have to wear a specific tough watch to go to the range or to pull weeds. You know, you can wear whatever you want. And I am someone that does that in my collection. I don't really reserve watches outside of, like, if I'm going to go underneath my car, then yeah, I won't wear any of these. I might wear the G-Shock because I'm gonna bang it against either metal or concrete. So either way, point is, love this watch, wear it all the time. Saturday is the day that I now look forward to putting it back on. You know, if I didn't have this system of one watch each day of the week, I might wear this thing every day. I did when I first got it. I actually stopped doing the one a week thing and just wore this for like a week and a half straight. Really loved it, you know? And the power reserve is also very underrated. I actually love having this power reserve on here because I always make sure that I don't run out so that I don't have to reset it. And this never really needs me to adjust the time because it's so accurate. And so it means that, you know, it's perfectly fine. I just check my watch box at night, wind it up if I have to because the power reserve looks a little low. I'm good to go. Amazing watch. Love the Grand Seiko SPGA 415. If you're out there interested in the Grand Seiko, you know, think about it. Obviously, it's a big gamble. You're going to pay $5,000 for a watch. So definitely think about it. Try and get it outside of jeweler's lights, and maybe you will be surprised. There's always a watch perfect for the moment, and I feel like this has been a really good expression of what my taste is and what I love the most. If you like this sort of content, or if you like what I have to say, then obviously, you know, you liked it so far. So go ahead, you know, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.